Good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to give it a few minutes, let folks come into the room. And as you come into the room, let me know your first name. Let me know the city, state, or country that you are coming to me from. That will be helpful. So come on in. Come on in. All right. Good evening. Thank you for joining. I am going to do a very special live this evening with another content creator. I'm going to see if I can invite him to join me. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Hold on a second, because I got to figure out. Okay. There we go. All right. I'm slow tonight because I'm like, I done this a million times. Why can't I figure out how to do it? So I'm going to invite our guest on. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. How are you?
How are you? Hello. Okay, I got some folks. Let me just greet them. Yes, I will save this slide, please. Thank you for coming to us from Australia. I appreciate it. As you come in tonight, please let me know the city, state, or country that you are coming to us from and your first name. You know, I'm still trying to get to know all of the folks on my platform. It is quite a few. So I am joined tonight by thatbaldbrutha. Okay. And that is the name of his platform. And I just want to introduce you all to him. Right now, my platform is at 64% men. And quiet as it's kept, I'm trying to shift y'all somewhere else. So I am finding other men, other male content creators, other platforms that I believe align with my message. And maybe you can get the message better if it's coming from another man. Who knows? But we're going to talk a little bit tonight, and I'm excited. Oh, someone joining us from Pennsylvania. I'm excited for you all to meet him, and we're going to have a little chat. And for the ladies, someone coming to us from Santa Barbara, California. Thank you. For the ladies, I get so many requests from women wanting me to have more men, more male content creators on my platform. So that was definitely something that I did every January when I had my podcast. That's all I did was have men come on the platform, men come on the podcast, men come on my YouTube channel. And they just love getting insight from men. So that's what you're going to get tonight. Miss Christine from Georgia, hello. Estherina from Catskills, New York, hello. Chesapeake, Virginia, thank you for joining. Hello. All right, so as you come in, let me know your first name, the city, state, or country that you are coming to us from. That would be wonderful. All right, so tell us a little bit about your platform.
Well, first, Anita, I want to thank you for inviting me up.
Yes.
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, so you can call me Chris.
Okay.
I'll let you know, it's fine.
All right.
But I'm an advocate for Black men. At the age of 50, I have seen a lot. And most of what I cover on my platform focuses on relationships, mental health, and self-improvement. And having gone through all those categories myself and had experiences, both highs and lows, I use those experiences to enlighten Black men on how to avoid those pitfalls, but also for those of us who did make mistakes, give them hope that they can recover from them.
Good. And we need that. We need that because your story, I hear your story a lot, men who are 40, 50 and beyond. And they've been through some things. They've had some heartaches, they've made some mistakes. They've been through some things. And everyone who knows me knows that, I am just a positive person by nature. I have been through plenty of things that I don't even talk about. But honestly, as I love to tell my counseling clients, the best thing about the past is that it's done.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I am not a person that lives in the past at all. Sometimes that annoys people, but I'm like, oh, did it happen? Like it's over. It's over. And so I want to live in the present. I want to live for the future. And I want to try to encourage more men to do that. a lot of men get defined by what's happened to them, right?
Well,
So if someone hurt them, they get defined by that. So,
I think a lot of the problem is that we get caught up in the past. We allow ourselves to get bogged down in it because regret is a thing, and we don't realize that you don't have to stay in regret,
right,
right? It's hard to realize that you can't change the past because you beat yourself up so bad. Oh, why did I make that mistake? Oh, I should have did this and did that, did the other. And you spend your time, all that energy trying to talk yourself into understanding that you should have made a right turn rather than left turn.
right,
The funny thing about humans is that we talk about, oh, if I had gone right, everything would have turned out better.
yeah,
And you don't know that.
mm,
It could have turned out far worse. And I remind people, remind men especially, that, when we get caught up in that kind of stuff, that those head games, you
right,
got to center yourself and just say, you know what, I got to let that go
yeah,
and move on.
yeah. Well, they need that. They really, really need that because just today, just yesterday, I had some men come on my platform, and they were putting some really negative comments below, my content, my posts, and I let them know this is not the year. This is not the year that we're going to do that. We're going to try to stay positive. I only want to engage with people that know how to think critically, that have compassion for other people, that are open. Like I'm really big into, please be open. Please have an open mind. Don't just see the world from your perspective, because when you do that and you are so rigid in that stance, you cannot grow. You cannot grow. So I had to invite several people to the door today and one guy said, oh, you say you're all about free speech. You say you're all about, free speech and people, having healthy conversations. I was like, this is not that. This
Right.
is not a healthy conversation. So no, thank you. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, this is just like a witch hunt. And, I can't have that type of negativity on my platform anymore.
Well, there are people out here that live for misery. I'm
Right.
learning that in life, and they don't know what to be happy is painful for them. They
Right.
need to be angry and bothered by somebody. It's like, you know what? I got better things to do with my time. My attention is valuable. And if you want to
Right.
spend yours on being a keyboard cowboy or cowgirl,
Yeah.
then you go right ahead.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So tell me the purpose behind starting your platform.
I felt like I wanted to share my story. I felt like for a long time I felt alone. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean alone meaning that I thought I was the only one going through the things that I was dealing with. I survived and thrived 2 divorces,
Mm.
overcome depression and benefited from mental health therapy. And I felt like, you know what, I can't be the only person that's dealt with that.
Right.
And I wanted to be a beacon of light and encouragement for other Black men and Black boys growing up so they can understand and learn how to treat each other, how to be in relationships and survive and thrive in those too,
Mm-hmm.
and how to grow for themselves, become more self-aware to be better men.
Right. Right. That is, that technically was not a goal for my platform. However, I guess as a counselor, that definitely is a goal when I'm working with men in the counseling space. I have my mission statement up here on the wall, and I'm always telling people, my mission is to inspire and encourage people to want to become their best self. Like that really does it for me. When people have aha moments and they just want to be better, like that just does it for me. So that still is my hope for everyone, that they can recognize, where I'm at now isn't great. Where my mindset is not great. Like I could be better. I could be better. I could be happier. And so I hope some of the things I say or my content, people have that aha moment and they say, yeah, I want to be better.
When you're
Somehow I want to do
experienced, let me ask you a question. What did you, with men, I'm focusing on men, what have you found is the biggest mental roadblock?
that. So the one thing that I love about men can also be the one thing, it's like a double-edged sword. So I love the fact that they can be so, one-sided, like they're very, what's the word I would use, but very focused and directed on one thing. Whereas women, the way our brains are made, we can multitask. So we can multitask a lot of different things. Whereas men are very like laser focused on one
Right.
thing. And so that's their thing. That's what they're doing. But the bad news about that is once they kind of clamp down on that, they're like, nope, this is it. This is the only way it can be. This is what I know it to be. And for it to be anything different is like changing who I am at my core. So that can be very difficult for them to have. It's what we call, we have to change that word is going to come to me. But it's just, once they clamp down on this is who I am or this is what it is, it's hard to change that. So in order to say, no, you can actually be this or be that, it could be different, that takes work. But when they get it, they get it. When
Yeah,
they get it,
it requires zooming out.
Right.
Is what I found is that you have to, as men, we do get hyper focused because we're very logical and very black and white. Not to say that women are logical. Yeah. I don't want to get there. But I'm just saying that in general, men focus on the black and white, and we get hunkered down to something. It's hard to get us off that. But I found that for myself, and what I try to advocate for is self-awareness.
Right.
Open your mind up and recognize that, okay, there's more to the puzzle. It's not just one thing. Right. And when you accept the fact that you can learn some more stuff, because we think we figured it all out. Right. I knew I did. And that's how come I bumped my head so much, because I thought I had all the answers and I didn't. And I encourage men to, just step back a little bit and be like, brother, it's okay. It's okay not to have all the answers, and it's okay to learn still, even in our older age. So.
Yeah. So it's shifting that paradigm. Yeah. So sometimes men feel like if I allow this new paradigm shift to come in, like it is going to destroy me somehow. And I'm like, no. I'm reading a really great book right now. I just started it 3 days ago. It's called Ego is the Enemy. And I do a lot of ego work with my clients because honestly, that is like 90% of a lot of relationship problems is ego.
Yeah.
And I teach couples how to do ego work. One of the things that book stated is we have to be eternal students. Like we have to forever be learning. We can never say, oh, I've mastered this. Like we have to have that attitude. And so I've been sharing that with people. Like I want you to recognize that we are forever learning. We're never going to master really anything. We'll know a lot about it, but to say, oh, I know everything there is to know about that. That's your ego. So you got to be willing to lay the ego, right? Yeah. Lay that ego down. Okay, so if you could give one piece of advice to the men today, what would it be?
Work on yourself as much as you can prior to getting into relationships. Not saying that you need to be completed, and I say completed mean that you've arrived at your destination.
Right.
I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm not there yet, but I've worked on myself to get to a place where I am now, and now I'm in a relationship where I'm able to continue on with that. You find someone who understands what you're going through and what you're working with, and you understand them in return, and you guys work together.
Right. Okay. All right. And what would be one piece of advice that you'd give to women today?
Understand the difference between your wants and your needs. I think that, in my opinion, wants are more superficial and surface level, whereas needs are the intangible. And I think people get those two confused. Right. And once you have a clear understanding of what your wants and needs are, then you decide what your priority is. If your wants are your priority versus your needs, then you have to understand and accept the consequences that go along with that, and vice versa.
Right. And I always say there are trade-offs. I don't know why we're not aware that there are trade-offs. There will always be trade-offs. And there's always a flip side to the thing that you think you want or need. So if you say, I want a man who's family oriented, okay, that's great. And that's a wonderful quality. What could be on the other side of that is him running out in the middle of the night to help his mother, to help his brother, to help his father, to help his children. And now you have a problem with, oh my gosh, he's running out at 11 o'clock. Well, you wanted someone family oriented. Like I could take every good thing and I could turn it around and see what's on the other end of it.
Exactly. So and your level of tolerance is important too.
Right. So I need people to be mature enough to do that, because a lot of people don't have a maturity that says, well, what's bad about being family oriented? I said, again, I could turn that around and it could be a different story.
Yeah.
So just understand there's always trade-offs. I encourage that women lead with their needs.
Mhm.
It's okay to want things, but needs should always trump wants.
Now, how do you get
So,
women to focus in and be able to distinguish their needs from their wants?
right, right. But it takes a level of maturity. Younger women who are more immature, well, there's some older women that's immature too.
Yeah.
I can't even say it's about age, but you know, it's a maturity thing,
Yeah.
right? It's a maturity thing. Once you get older and wiser, you
Hopefully.
recognize that a man's height has nothing to do with your relationship satisfaction. But see, immature women, they really think, no, he must be 6'2", he must be 6'4", no, that has nothing to do with your long-term relationship satisfaction. That has nothing to do with what kind of father he is. That has nothing to do with what kind of husband he is. And see, mature women know this. Immature women, oh, he's $300,000 a year. Again,
Right.
research has proven that once a man makes a certain amount of money and that money keeps the family comfortable, anything above that does not improve relationship satisfaction. Okay? And you're going to get used to it anyway.
Right.
So, they put these things as markers, but again, it's just an immature mindset that says, yeah, that's what I'm going to want. That's what I'm going to need. No, it really isn't. You need a man who's kind. You need a man who's faithful. You need a man who has some level of intellect. You need a man who, in my opinion, is godly. Like
Right. Right.
those are the things I need. I need a man who's generous. So while I would not put a number on how much he made, I would say, yes, I would love a man who's generous. So whatever.
And generosity comes in different forms and shapes and sizes too. So
Exactly.
so
So
would
yep.
you say that today's, I'll say today's women, would you say that many women or some women have unrealistic standards?
I, I would say that today's woman, unfortunately, um, she has created this thing in her mind, like so to be honest, in her mind, she's wanting all of these outrageous things because she doesn't even expect the relationship to last.
Mm.
So she just wants to get what she can get when she can get it. If, like my grandmother, like my mother, she actually was choosing someone for long-term mating, she would choose differently. But because in the last 15, 20 years since the dating app was created,
Yeah.
relationships have gotten shorter and shorter and shorter. And so now women are like, you know what? This is going to only last a year, $300,000, 6'4", right? They're not thinking about long-term mating anymore.
Now,
They're just thinking,
those
yeah, what can I get for now?
are those unconscious decisions, you think? Because it sounds like something that they're not taking into consideration. It's just the fact that they're just operating in this instant gratification society we live in.
And that's everybody. That's
Mm.
I could say the same for men. The men, same thing. They are not choosing for long-term mating. They are choosing a woman that looks good now, that feels good today. And then when the honeymoon period wears off, when he really sees who she is, oh, this is no, I can't be with this for any length of time. And then it's on to the next.
And
So
unfortunately, then it becomes sometimes more times than I care to admit, children become involved in that conversation too. And then you
exactly.
have broken homes and trying to figure all that out.
Exactly. And that is the part that has always kind of like, I don't know why. And people keep saying, oh, Anita, you come from another generation. I'm trying to wrap my head around the kid thing. I really am, because it was drilled into me not to get pregnant before you got married or not to get pregnant young. That was drilled
Right.
into me. So much so, I've told this story. That was drilled into me so much so that I was married, and the first year I got married, I got pregnant. And I found out I was pregnant when I was helping my best friend move into her brand new house.
Right.
And she was saying, yeah, you're feeling sick and this and that. You think you could be pregnant? I was like, no, I can't be that girl. She's like, well, let's just get a test. And we go to CVS and get a test, and I take it, and I came out the bathroom crying. And she was like, what happened? I said, girl, I'm pregnant. She was like, okay, what's the problem? I was like, what? And she's like, you're married. I was like, oh, like, it's okay. like that's how much it was drilled into me.
Right.
But it's like today, people don't, it's like, so what? Okay, we just met, and 3 months later, I'm pregnant. That's crazy to me. So,
Well, from the male perspective, I think a lot of guys aren't honest. They lead with this whole, you try to sell relationship and long term and, oh, I love you this and love you that within 2 weeks. And unfortunately, some women buy that, and then they end up getting pregnant, believing that they're going to be there with this person forever. And then it gets tired next day. Oh, you know what? I'm going somewhere else.
Wow.
And it's an unfortunate situation, but I try to encourage men that you have to think about these things before, because once you bring a child into the world, it's just a whole nother ball game. And I got 2 daughters, and I have struggled with having a relationship with them because of everything that I went through with my divorces, and recognizing that of course regret is what it is, but recognizing if I handled things differently and was a bit smarter with the way I handled all that, I would have probably made some better decisions. So.
But I'm not wired. I'm not wired that way. And I guess it just shocks me that other people would move in within 3 months or be pregnant by someone with that. That's unheard of for me.
Yeah.
That's just unheard of. Like, I don't even know this person.
Yeah.
And like you said, that is such a major life decision. And I'm doing it with a stranger. Like, I'm just not wired like that. So it is shocking still. Like, when I see it happen, I'm thinking, this person's a stranger. Like, you're having a child with a person you don't even know.
Exactly.
And they come to me, they're having problems. And I'm thinking, of course, because it's a stranger. Like, you don't even know this person. So,
but that's why it's important to take time to get to know people. And I stress that too. It's like, I remember when I was going through some bad relationships, even before my marriages, I really didn't know the people. I wasn't understanding what it meant to really see somebody for who they were and understand where they're coming from. I wasn't asking questions. I was keeping it very surface level, very, I guess, small talkish, if you want to call it that. But having gone through what I've been through, I've learned better now that, you have to be able to understand where this person's values are at. That takes time. You're not going to know a person in a week or a month. You need to spend time with them. You need to see them when they're angry. Understand who this person is when they're not happy, when they don't get what they want. That's what you need to be paying attention to.
Exactly.
And people ignore that and figure, oh, it's peaches and cream all the time. That's a relationship I run from. It cannot be great all the time. That's a red flag. You got to see this. You all are not going to agree. It's okay that you don't agree, but you have to understand how to have a discussion and a disagreement, not an argument all the time, and be mature about how you deal with conflict in your relationships.
Right. That's huge. I have a saying in my practice that says a couple is only as good as their last fight.
Yep.
So if that fight was a knockdown, drag out, cuss you out, put hands on, this and that, I'm like, that's the relationship. Like, that's it right there. And they love to say things like, well, when it's good, it's good. But when it's that,
when is it good?
Like, right. Oh, that's horrible. Yeah. So I have to get on people. If your fights are bad, like knockdown, drag out, disrespectful, laying on of hands, no, that's not good. She says people don't have to know one another, don't get to know one another these days. It's all surface level, small talk conversation. Then after 3 weeks, folks feel like they're ready for sex. It's wild. Yes.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. 100%. Okay, so what are your thoughts on marriage, especially in 2024? We're getting a lot of different dialogue from men, because I'm always asking men this question. Right. We're getting a lot of dialogue from men. Like, men are kind of shutting down to the thought of being married. They say marriage doesn't benefit men. It's just a bad deal for men.
I mean, I don't blame them for having that view because, historically, and it's not really historically, it's a fact that there are occasions where getting married to the wrong person can have you hamstrung. But the key point in that statement is being married to the wrong person. The important thing is understanding that you take the time we just talked about to find out who this person is so you choose better.
Right.
People ask me all the time, oh, you've been divorced twice. Are you against marriage? I don't fault the institution of marriage.
Right.
I fault my poor choices. So I've learned how to choose better. So now going forward, I'm going to do better. And that's what I tell the guys to do. Don't focus on the black and white of it. You got to see that you have to make better decisions. It's not the institution. It's not dating or relationships. It's because we're not making better choices. We're not looking into ourselves and saying, you know what, where are my issues that I need to work on? Let me get right so that I can attract right. Yeah. If you're toxic, you're going to attract toxic. There's a saying that you're a mirror. You reflect who you are, you attract who you are. And people don't want to take that seriously.
Right. Right. And they don't believe you when you say that. Like, I don't know why, but people don't necessarily believe that. They think, no, I'm great and I have my stuff together. I just keep attracting all of these, the men will say all these crazy women or women who aren't submissive, women who, don't want to let me lead, and I'm thinking, you sure? Because and again, it's not to say, we're going to attract all types. I attract all types, but there's a certain type that I entertain. So it doesn't matter who walks up on me. It doesn't matter who DMs me. I vet every single person and I determine if I'm going to give that person energy or not. A lot of people, they don't get any energy. So that's what I tell a lot of men. Just don't give her any energy. That's it.
Making the decision of who you're going to give your valuable time and attention to is important. And a lot of times we give it to just anybody who shows up at the front door.
Right. That's it.
The other hard thing people don't want to accept is that we are the common denominator in all our relationships. So wherever you go, whatever problems you got, they're going with you.
That's it.
So you think, I keep attracting the wrong people. Well, maybe you need to take a break and figure out why that is rather than figure I need to find me a better man or a better woman.
Right. Okay. So what can we do, in your humble opinion, to improve relationships between men and women right now, especially in our community?
We need to stop fighting all the time. It's the same argument, two sides of the same coin. How about we both are messed up? Let's just call it what it is, and then get past that, and then now we can have a conversation and discuss. Okay, what is it you feel that I'm lacking in as a man or men, and vice versa, and then we can find a way to come together and discuss it. I think the problem is the popular discourse online is the back and forth yelling and screaming, pointing fingers back and forth saying it's your fault, your fault, your fault. But I advocate for conversations like this where you can sit down and say, okay, we may not agree on every point, but at least I want to hear what your perspective is so that I can understand and cherry pick what I can take from it and say, okay, well, this is what we need to do to improve ourselves on the other side of it, having heard from the woman's mouth what she's looking for. But it takes, as you said before, a mature woman and a mature man to have that conversation.
It does. So one of the exercises that I do in my counseling office with couples, especially after I have kind of gotten to know them for a little bit, and we've done a few homework assignments, and we've warmed up to each other. I have them come in and they have a session where they solely focus on their part. What are they doing or not doing that's causing the issues in the relationships? Okay. So you and I are actually going to do that right now. I'm going to tell you what the women are doing. And I want you to tell me what you think the men are doing or not doing. Okay. All right. So the women, what are we doing? Here's what we need to stop doing. Okay. Sometimes we need to be quiet. That's the first thing. Our mouth gets us in trouble. So our mouth, we don't know, how to say things. We don't know when to be quiet. Okay. Less is more. We need to work on that. And our attitude. So we don't know how to say things to men. We don't know how to approach them respectfully. We don't know how to approach them in a way that will make them less defensive. Okay, so that's something women need to work on. We need to work on our expectations, like you said, the difference between the wants and the needs, and know the difference. We need to work on our ego, because a lot of us believe that whatever it is we got in between our legs is somehow so magical and powerful that it's going to turn, Chad and Tyrone into a family man. It's not. Okay, you ain't special. Okay. What else? We need to work on our inside self and not just our outside self. We need to put as much energy as we put into our outside, we need to put it to our inside. Okay, so we need to get our inside right. We need to get our mind right. We need to do that ego work. Okay, we need to learn how to communicate effectively. So some women shut down. They're great at shutting down and not really saying what they want or what they need. They believe myths like, he should just know. Why should I have to tell him? And if I have to tell him, he's not the one. That is a myth. Okay, only you are responsible for getting your wants and needs met, and you have to open your mouth in order to do it. Okay. What else? Listening to your little girlfriends, being on social media, what I consider to be like worshiping social media. Okay. Putting your time and energy into things that are not benefiting you in the least. You putting your time and energy into things that don't matter. Um, Focus on your domestic skills. That's something that I've been talking to women a lot about. You need to get your domestic skills straight. You need to keep your house clean. You need to learn how to cook something. Every meal that you have should not be DoorDash or Uber Eats or takeout. Okay, so we could work on that. We could work on our health and fitness. Okay, and making sure that we keep our body right and tight.
Right.
All right. I could keep going, but like I said, we have our stuff.
Yeah.
We have things we need to work on. And again, it's that ego. That ego has us thinking that we're different or we're special. And when the truth is, we are a woman, just like a man is a man. And, we got to remain a student. We got to continue to learn. We got to continue to grow. We cannot think that we know it all, that we have all the answers. We don't. So that's us in a nutshell. I could go on.
I might
The women
have
gonna be
to
like,
steal
dang,
some of
Anita.
yours on our side over here, but
Yep.
I would start out with communication. We need to learn how to listen to understand first, and then respond. We spend too much time cutting women off, trying to get our point in, and trying to put our foot down as the man in the relationship, and that's not really what I consider being a man. Right. I don't see anything wrong with valuing and respecting women. I don't know that goes against the grain for a lot of people out here that watch this stuff online.
Right.
Disrespecting women and not seeing their value doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
If you're going to have a healthy relationship, you need a partner that has value and worth.
Yep.
And if you don't see that in that partner, then why are you with them?
Exactly. Yep.
I don't want somebody who can't think or can't speak or has no opinion. I don't need that. I can get a book or a robot for that. What do I need a person for?
Yep.
The other thing is have boundaries. It's okay to say no. It's not about always trying to please her and give her what she wants, because sometimes she don't even know what she wants sometimes. It's what it is. But you have to be able to be confident in stepping into your masculine frame and saying, you know what, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and do the other. Taking into consideration her opinion, right? But recognizing as the man in the household or the relationship that ultimately the decisions you're going to make are going to affect both of you. So you have to make the decision smartly enough to consider both people.
That's right.
Working on your inside is important. Like you said, with ego, that's a big thing with men. Ego. And I think in the Black community, the inside work is taboo because we're discouraged from thinking about mental health and taking care of that.
Right.
I mean, I love the Lord like everybody else, but going to church is not mental health therapy. It's not going to save your mental. You need more. Some people need more than that. And being honest with yourself and getting the right help can make a monumental difference. What else? I think it's important that we be the example. You know, I don't argue with women.
Yep.
I don't believe in that. You know, so you can cuss and fuss all you want. I'll check in with you when you calm down, because a
Please.
lot of poor decisions are made with emotion, and I've
Mm-hmm.
learned that nothing good happens from an emotion decision.
Yep.
So I tell men all the time, when she gets fired up, let her get it off her chest,
Yeah.
and you're like, you know what, honey, let's just revisit this a little bit later on when you
Right.
calm.
That's
Because we
right.
speak coherent, because people say things that don't mean, and then that you can't take that kind of stuff back.
Yeah.
So
Excellent. Okay. She says, I am Ashley says, yes, boundaries and taking ownership of your masculinity. Be an effective leader and we will follow you willingly. 100%. And I tell men that a man provides frame. So he is the frame. The woman is the beautiful piece of art and the man is the frame in which we live in. And so his frame has to be strong. It has to be masculine. He has to have good control over his emotions because a woman is chaos. Like that is our nature. And so the man cannot join us in that chaos. He has to be the rock in that storm. And so, like you said, okay, I hear you. Well, I think we need to take a break. I think, emotions are running high. I think we need to, kind of process this. I'm open to discussing it. I'm not open to be screamed at. I'm not open to be cursed at. And
correct.
I'm not open to be disrespected.
Correct.
Okay. Like he can say that and say, hey, we can come back, like you said, and talk later. And I tell so many men that you're going to set the tone that way. Set the tone on how you like to be treated. And if you are not treated that way, then we won't be in communication.
Correct.
That's it. That's it. It's not hard. Well, she not gonna listen, and you might be with the wrong woman.
There's that
You really might.
too. And
Yeah.
that's
If
the
she
harsh
if she can't,
reality that the
that's
guys,
it.
not to cut you, I apologize, but that's the harsh reality that the guys, I think both sides face this, that you don't want to face the facts that maybe you are with the wrong person.
Right.
You so desperately want to be in a relationship that you're willing to take anything. And that speaks to self-worth. And it's important
Yep.
that you work on that too, because you can't teach me how to love you if you don't love yourself. And
Exactly.
no, I
Exactly.
can't teach you. So you got to figure that part out first.
Right. Right. But that is part of what I am so passionate about is making sure that people have all the tools necessary to choose well. That choosing that's a big percentage of how well the relationship is going to go.
Right.
Because as I always say, I have a 2-part formula and I wrote a book on each part for women. The first book is called Choose Well, a simple formula to determine the best man for you. That's for women who are single.
Okay.
So for women, we suck at choosing. Like we suck. Okay. I'm just going to own it. We tend to do well when we're in a relationship. But if we made a poor choice in a man, it's like there's no outdoing that choice. Like once we pick a bad guy, we'll show up great and we'll be good to him, but he's a bad guy. So no
But
matter
why
what we
is
do,
that? Why is that?
because we suck at choosing. Like we suck at choosing.
No, what I mean is, let me phrase the question. Why do you stay?
Because we are our culture has socialized us into being partnered. Like think about it like this, and I've received this, and it don't matter to me because everybody know I tell people how old I am. I tell people my relationship status. I don't give a fig. But I can't tell you how many people will say, well, are you married? Do you have a man? That's why. That's why. That is weaponized. That is weaponized. And I let people know I'm clinically trained. So you don't need to worry about you don't need to worry about that. I'm clinically trained to do this. And you're not going to make me feel bad because I'm not married. Like we're not going to do that. But okay. But
I think
that's why.
I think it's funny when people try to make the argument that, well, if you're not in a healthy relationship or have not experienced it, then you can't talk about
Right.
healthy relationships.
Yep.
I quite frankly wouldn't want to get advice from someone who's never seen a storm.
Yeah.
I need to know you've been through something and survived it to be able to give me advice, because I'm not perfect. So who better to give you advice on how to dodge a bullet than people that's been shot up pretty good?
Yep. 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 So We suck at choosing.
Mm-hmm.
The second book is called Do Well, okay? A Feminine Woman's Guide to Relationship Success. And so I teach a woman who is in a relationship, who has made a choice, and if she's made a good choice, here's how you're going to show up in that relationship. So choose well, do well. And I teach men the same thing. I teach men how to choose well, and I teach men how to do well. Here is my theory. I think most men do choose well. I think men falter at doing well. That's the part that they don't. They get in a relationship with, I believe, a pretty good woman, but they falter. They falter through that relationship. They falter by not leading. They falter by being out in the street or being unfaithful or lying, or doing something.
Right.
And so they fumble the relationship. But women, and now I'm seeing it both ways. I'm seeing men choose poorly, and I'm seeing women doing very poorly. So we all have a lot to learn. We have a lot to learn.
Yeah, I can agree with the fumbling of the relationship. I've been there, but I also see that men, being that we're so visual, we focus on the wrong things.
Right.
I get that it's in our nature to be visual, and I get that, but you have to have self-discipline.
Right.
Self-control, and know that, okay, she's attractive, but can she speak?
Right.
Can she think?
Mm-hmm.
What does she value? What are her morals like?
Yeah.
It goes beyond that, and I think a lot of guys focus on just the looks and getting their rocks off real quick, and then on to the next, and it's unfortunate. So.
Yeah. So what I tell every man and every woman, at some point, you have to shift from short-term mating strategies to long-term mating strategies. And that is going to require a level of maturity. Okay, so perfect example. Who I took to the prom, right? When I was looking for a prom date,
Mm-hmm.
that guy is totally different than who I'm looking for to father my children. Okay?
Correct.
So my prom date was captain of the football team. Okay, because I was captain of the cheerleaders. I was like captain of the football team, fine, chocolate, muscles, all of that, right? Popular. That's the prom date.
Right.
Who is going to help me raise my children? That man may be totally different. And it's kind of like we're not able to do that. For some reason, we want the prom date for the rest of our lives. And that's just not realistic. It's not.
Well, I think that we also see a lot of the stuff in the media where we see these what appears to be fairy tale fantasy relationships online where everything appears to be going great, but in reality, you don't know what's going on behind that camera.
Right.
And we all have that fantasy of having the white knight in shining armor and the princess, and you got to come down from that cloud at some point and recognize that it's 7 billion imperfect people on this planet. Good luck.
Yep. So it's rough out here, and yet I am still giving people hope. I'm still giving people hope. And I always tell people, as long as I exist, as long as I'm out here doing the work, as long as I'm out here learning and growing, and I meet other people like me, I say, okay, there's other people like me that are doing the work, they're growing, they're learning, they're going to therapy, they're reading books, they're listening to things. So I tell people, don't give up hope. Do not give up hope. And we just got to keep doing our work. We have to keep doing our work.
Now, have you found that the people that you have met that are like-minded, are they people that you have gone out intentionally and met, or people that just happen to cross your path through your life experience?
They just cross my path. That's what's so amazing. Like, as soon as I come up to another level, I see those people. So it's very exciting because I'm like, oh, I'm in another level. Like I have up leveled, I now can see those people, and they come across my path in the strangest of ways. So that's how I know. And that's why I keep selling that to people. If you are seeing the people who are broken and wounded and, bitter, you got to come up. Correct. You got to come up another level.
Correct. The key is that, like you said before, is that you have to do that self-work. Once you start fixing your light and it starts shining brighter, you're going to attract more people that have the same kind of light.
That's it.
Focusing on getting yourself right will bring people into your circle that are right.
Yeah.
If you weren't about toxicity, this, and maybe it's time to look inside yourself, like I said before, and figure out what's going on, what you need to address, versus trying to think you got it all put together.
Right.
We got to stop diluting ourselves thinking that we got our shit together, forget my language. We have work to do.
Right.
And until you take the steps to take care of that, you're going to keep attracting the same kind of problems.
Yeah.
That was for me. So
yeah. Okay. So I'm just reading some comments. Everyone is saying, yes, you give me hope. I hope so, because that's what I'm trying to do. Give y'all hope. And let's see, go to therapy. We saw some go to therapies.
yes.
And yes, some of us do need that. Some of us, we need, and this is, I did a live on attachment style, maybe about 2 or 3 months back. And some of us need to learn our attachment style.
Okay.
We need to figure out that we are insecurely attached and what that means. And we need to work on being more securely attached.
Yeah.
So I've been encouraging that. I give people the link so they can take that quiz for free, find out what your attachment style is. And if you are insecurely attached, you have your work cut out for you. That has a lot to do with why you're having the problems you're having.
And it's okay. It's okay that you have to work. That's the other thing too. Don't get down on yourself getting upset because, oh, I got all this I got to take care of. No one's going to want me. Stop.
Yep.
Don't make it like don't beat yourself up. Just focus on putting in the energy and work to get right. It'll come. You have to be patient. I'm very impatient, so I had to learn a lot about that. And I know people out there are getting angry. Oh, I don't want to. I'm okay, sir. Man, calm down.
Yeah, it takes time. It takes time. I have been a relationship scientist for 25 years, and I remember reading Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, like 25 years ago, right? And got introduced to the author, Dr. John Gray, had the pleasure of communicating with him through email. Then we would talk on the phone. I was just like blown away. I am Gottman trained as a therapist. So again, having gone to all kinds of Gottman trainings in Tennessee and North Carolina and getting to meet them. So I tell people I've learned a lot over that time, and that's the tip of the iceberg, like 25 years. And that is the tip of the iceberg. I'm still not even close to knowing like everything there is to know. So yeah, we gotta be patient. We gotta take our time and be patient, but leveling up and working on yourself, going inside, being willing. And let me tell y'all, this is how it's going to work. So the shadow part of yourself is all of your yucky parts, all of your icky parts, your anger, just all the parts of yourself that you wish weren't there. You have to look at that. You have to sit with that. You have to love it. You have to love it, right?
You got to own it.
But doing that work, doing that ego work, because I think a lot of people fear that if they actually look at the stuff they don't like, they're going to blow up. And I'm like, you're not going to blow up, but you have to own it. You have to own it. I'm critical. I can be envious. Oh, envy was my thing. Years ago, I was very envious. I was very envious of people, and I had to see it. I am envious. And once I owned it, I was like, okay, I can now work on this. I can let this go. But for years, I wouldn't own it, that I did envy people. So you got to be willing to do that work. You got to do that work, y'all.
Yeah, people think it's a one cure-all thing.
Right.
You know, you're not going to cure that. You have to learn how to manage those emotions and manage those feelings. Because if you keep denying them, that's why they keep creeping up in your relationships, because you don't acknowledge them. They want to be seen. They want to be acknowledged. And once you do that, then you can start to pivot and handle it correctly.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to give you all a chance to ask any questions you may have. If you have any questions for Chris or I am Ashley PJ says, I've read the book Attached, and it opened my eyes to a lot of my flaws, and I've been actively working on healing those wounded parts of me. I'm putting in the work because, yes, I'm telling you that attachment style is a thing. Doing that ego work is a thing. We've got to look at those childhood traumas. One of the things, I am a healed, fearful avoidant. I can be triggered, but I am, for the most part, a healed, fearful avoidant. One of the wounds I had for the longest time is love has to be earned. And that got me into trouble. That got me into trouble. And I had to heal that. I really believe love had to be earned. You had to bend over backwards. You had to drop it like it's hot. You had to buy things, do things, go. And when I woke up that no, I am lovable. I can just be me. I am lovable. And I do not have to bend over backwards at every moment, to be loved. So that's a lot of people's story. You have to heal those wounds. You have to heal those wounds. All right.
Let me
Thank
ask you
you.
a quick question.
Thank you, Garland, for buying the badge. Thank you. Yes.
What are your thoughts about love languages?
Love languages skim the surface. I'm very familiar with his work, but to me, it skims the surface. It is a
Mhm.
part. It is a part of a many-faceted, wheel that I use when I'm thinking of all the things that I use.
Okay.
I think it is a part, but I think it is kind of a surface part. I think we need to go deeper than that. But yes, that's one of the many things. I'm also big into personality assessment. I'm big into Meyers
Right.
Briggs, Enneagram. I give people the big five. We really do not put enough time and energy and effort into compatibility.
Yes.
We spend too much time on chemistry. Like that's what does it for us, chemistry, right? Because chemistry is sexy. Chemistry is, ooh, she just do it for me.
Right.
But then the compatibility piece, see, once you find out you and that person are really not that compatible.
Hmm.
So that's what I stress to people. Find out if you're compatible.
What are
Find
some
out if
steps men can take to better understand their compatibility?
there's lots of personality tests,
Oh,
right? There's lots of free assessments. I give them all the time. But you want to first know yourself. So I always run people through all of the tests and say, yeah, read about your Myers-Briggs, read about your Enneagram, read about your Big Five. Okay. And there are others. There are plenty of others. The Four Temperaments. That's another one. I am a choleric. I am a choleric person. So I've read all about that. And I know the type of person I need to have for me to mesh well with. So
got it.
first, know about yourself. Second, then you're going to find someone that would be a good fit for you. So then you're going to learn about that other person. But there are
Okay.
people out here that don't even know about themselves. They don't
Still.
they don't know that they are introverted or extroverted, that they are a feeler or a thinker, they are a
Mhm.
judger or a perceiver. See, they don't even know that. So yeah, how you gonna choose when you don't even know you? So,
That's a good
yep,
question.
yep. But you gotta do those assessments, and I have fun with them. I do them in my premarital, and I have fun. I have fun with people and say, yeah, we're gonna go on this journey. We're going to learn about ourselves, and we're going to teach our partner about ourselves. And so
Yes.
I make it fun, and they do. They love it. They're like, oh, this was so much fun. And, I read his, he read mine. It explained so much. Now we understand each other better. I was like, yes, that's it.
That's fantastic.
But see, the research, the science isn't sexy. That's why we're not using it. There is hundreds of years of relationship science, but it's not fun. It's not sexy. I try to make it sexy. But that's why people don't use it. They
Well,
don't.
because I think because the results of the test can be harsh
Oh
realities,
yeah.
and then you realize that you think what you thought was gold isn't
Right.
actually that.
Right.
It's hard to do that. Because we think humans, we think we can figure everything out without all the bells and whistles, and it's like, well, someone tells you no, you're actually way off the mark. Then you're like, wow,
Right.
you take it to heart.
Right. Okay. Garland says people live with undiagnosed psychological trauma and they mask it over. A marriage exposes it and the person doesn't know how to deal with it and runs away. That's a good point.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. So and that's why I tell people, I run people through these assessments that I'm just dating. Like if we're dating for more than 30 days, I say, hey, can I send you an email? And they say, sure. And then they get it and they're like, what's this? I was like, click on those links and just, take them assessments. Let me know what happens. Because I want to know. And to me, if you're going to be married, you should definitely know this. Like,
True.
why you're going to, put your life with another person and you don't know their temperament, you don't know, the big five. Like, no, you should know that stuff. Yeah, because that's going to really tell you if you all are well suited. So yeah, if you last 30 days, you're going to get that email and you're going to be like, what's this? Like, yeah, take them quizzes for me, because it's no point in going further if we're not compatible.
Exactly.
Like it's just no point. So, but that's me. You know, I can be very almost clinical in a sense. Like, no, it's not just about the feelings. It's not just about the chemistry. All right. Any questions? She says, can you name the assessments again? So what I'm going to do when I save this live, I'm going to put a list of assessments that I want you to look for online. You can find them for free, but I'm going to name all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to go to those sites. I want you to take them so you can learn about yourself. But if you're dating someone or if you're in a relationship, have that person take them as well. And it'll teach you a lot about each other. Okay? All right. Any other questions? We're talking about the book, The Body Keeps Score. Okay. Do you believe we attract who we are? I believe that we're all energy. And so we're seeking aligned energy. We are on a vibration, right? So whatever I'm vibrating, I'm going to see other people vibrating that same energy. And so now, because I'm vibrating, because I'm energy, I'm going to attract everything. But when I continue to level up, I'm going to attract at that level. So water seeks its own level, right? So one, I am aware that I, like a moth to a flame, there's just things coming at me, and I'm going to vet those things. I'm going to determine, okay, this feels good, this feels right. Oh no, this doesn't feel good. So that's our responsibility. And that's what a lot of people don't want. They don't want the responsibility of vetting. It's your responsibility to vet. So don't assume because someone's coming towards you, oh, it's the universe sending me this. No, it's not. Like, no, it's not. No.
There's still more work to do.
Yeah.
To figure out if that's the right person for you. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot more work. So yeah, I have to get on people about that. They just feel like, yeah, the universe is sending me this person. No, they're not. No, they're not. You have to vet everyone. And then we'll determine, okay, this is actually a good person, or no, this is not a good person.
Right.
So yeah, we wanna give up that responsibility, and we can't. It's our responsibility to vet that person. Okay, so,
Yeah.
so y'all, please, okay, you gotta. All right, let me see if there's any other questions. Okay, you need to know and love the worst version of the other person. I often tell people, yeah, your trauma should match. Like you should have kind of a complementary trauma, because we all have
Correct.
it. Like we all have it. But it has to kind of match as opposed to be a mismatch. That can be very hard. So, yep. Okay, she says, I believe I was in a relationship with a narcissist. How do I heal and learn how to love me again? So one thing about narcissistic abuse, you're going to need a very specific type of therapy because it actually changes your brain. When you are in relationship with people who have borderline, people who have narcissistic personality, any of the dark triads, sociopath, psychopath, it changes your brain. So you need a very specific type of therapy so that you can rewire that brain back to normal. Okay. And it takes time. It definitely takes time. All right. I think that's it. I don't see any other questions. Chris, anything else you want to leave us with before we wrap up?
No, I want to thank you again for the opportunity to have the conversation. I look forward to having more. Anybody out there wants to drop by and shoot me a hello, appreciate that. And I'm going to be having some lives myself on the YouTube side of things and have panel conversations, so I will welcome you to join me for those as well.
Okay, so your YouTube channel is called That Bald Brutha?
Correct.
Okay, and on Instagram, it is That Bald Brutha.
Yep.
Okay.
All platforms the same thing, That Bald Brutha, TikTok as well.
All right, so if you all would please do me a favor, once we're done here, please go over to Chris's channel, please follow, please go over to his YouTube and subscribe. You know how we do it. Please subscribe. Please check out his content, okay? And get involved however you can get involved. I would appreciate it. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Chris, for joining me tonight. I appreciate you all. Thank you to Garland Stillwell, who bought a badge. I appreciate you. And y'all remember, y'all can buy a badge, because sometimes I be on here and I be giving some hour-long, symposiums. You can buy a badge now. Don't forget, you can buy a badge, okay? But thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you all. And as always, stay open to love. Good night.
Take care.